The snow fell like ash across the cracked dome of the outpost town of Velgar, 9. Out here, in the frostbitten tail end of the Korad expanse, warmth was bought by flame, and loyalty was bought by coin or drink. Rhett Harrow sat at the far end of the bar, leaning over a steaming cup of boiled synth brew. His exo-leather coat was still dusted with snow, and the frost hadn't yet melted from his beard. He had no intention of staying long. Velgar, 9 was a waypoint, a fuel stop before he ran his cargo skiff back to the core. But then came the shout. You want 'em? One drink. One bloody drink, and they're yours. Rhett turned his head. A burly, frostbitten miner, drunk out of his mind, was swaying at the center of the bar. In his clutch were 2 girls, no, not human. Blue skin, silver blonde hair, long ears that twitched with sensitivity. They huddled together, half-dressed in traders' rags, trembling in the cold air. Twin alien girls, barely older than 20 in human years, and frightened out of their minds. Former nobles, the drunk bragged. Some fancy moon royalty. Ha! Found M hiding after the raid. Fed M for 2 weeks. Cost me a fortune. Now they're just eating up what I ain't got. Take M, spacer. 1 drink. That's all. Rhett's eyes narrowed. This wasn't the core. There were no enforcers here. No justice. If he walked out, they'd be sold to someone far worse. He knew what kind of people passed through Velgar 9. He stood and walked toward the counter, the synth brew still in his hand. Done, Rhett said, slamming the drink down in front of the man. Now get lost. The miner blinked at him, half laughing like it was a joke. But Rhett's expression didn't change. You deaf. Rhett growled, leaning in. Go. The drunk spat in the snow and staggered out. Just like that. The 2 girls looked up at him, wide-eyed and silent. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Rhett turned away. Come on, he said, not looking back. Chapter 2. Snow and Shadows. He didn't ask their names. Not at first. He took them to his ship, the Stubborn Wraith, and gave them hot food and blankets. They curled up in the cargo bay corner like 2 scared animals, eating in silence, glancing at each other before every bite. It wasn't until the second day, as they entered subspace, that the older one spoke. I am Alira, she said softly, her voice trembling. And this is my sister, Tali. Rhett nodded. I'm Rhett. They said nothing more until hours later. Rhett found them sitting near the engine vent for warmth, whispering in their native tongue. You didn't ask anything, Tali finally said. Not where we're from. Not what happened. Why? Rhett shrugged. Didn't seem right. You're strange for a human, Alira said. Most want something. He didn't reply. By the end of the week, they had cleaned half the ship, reorganized his cargo inventory, and cooked him something warm every evening. They followed him room to room, not out of fear, but devotion. Rhett had bought them for a drink, and somehow, it had meant everything. Chapter 3. A Fire in the Dark. It was supposed to be a quiet run to the core, but word had spread. 3 days before docking, a patrol ship hailed him. Unregistered passengers aboard. Prepare for inspection. Rhett's jaw clenched. He cut the line and turned to the girls. Go to the smuggler's hatch. Don't make a sound. But now. He powered down shields, pretending to comply. 2 men in sleek black armor boarded. Routine check, one said, smirking. Heard a rumor you're carrying exotic cargo. Rhett met their eyes. I haul frozen protein packs and spare ship parts. Want the manifest. The second man wandered toward the back. Might still have to confiscate anything unlisted. Rhett knew what that meant. But then, without warning, Tali made a noise. A soft clink of metal from behind the wall. The guards turned. Before they could move, Rhett drew. The shot was clean. One between the eyes. The second one lunged, but Rhett tackled him. They scuffled. A blaster went off. Sparks flew across the cargo bay. Then silence. Alira stood at the edge, holding a wrench. The guard at her feet wasn't moving. She dropped the tool, shaking. I thought I was ready to fight, she whispered. You were, Rhett said, breathing hard. You just proved it. Chapter 4, Truths and Stars. That night, the girls came to him. We weren't just royalty, Alira confessed. We were heirs, the last of our bloodline. Our world was shattered. We hid. The man who found us? He kept us alive, but treated us like pets. We were waiting for someone brave enough to fight back. Rhett stirred his tea. I'm not a hero. I haul junk for mid-tier credits. But you bought us, Tali said. And you never looked at us like we were property. You gave us our first choice. What choice? To stay. They didn't leave his ship after that. They slept in proper quarters. Tali became his co-pilot, fast with readings and data maps. Alira practiced hand-to-hand in the bay, learning to fight like the people who destroyed her world. Rhett didn't stop them. He started calling them crew. Chapter 5, Warlords Bounty. 6 months later, a bounty was placed on Rhett's head. Not because he had stolen anything, but because he was harboring the last bloodline of the Lethari system. A warlord named Kraveth put a price on their heads. Alive or dead, the transmission said. Preferably broken. They came for him in the dark over Nevar Station. For ships. Rhett didn't run. He strapped on armor for the first time in years and handed blasters to the girls. Still want to stay? He asked. Tali cocked the rifle. Try and make us leave. Alira smiled. We owe them answers. The battle in the ice fields was brutal. One engine was lost. Hull breach in Section 4. But the stubborn Wraith lived up to its name. When the final ship was down, Rhett slumped back in the pilot seat, bleeding from the arm. You okay? Tali asked, sliding down beside him. Nothing vital, he grunted. Alira sat at his feet. We'll fix it. We fix everything. Rhett looked at them, and for the first time, smiled. Chapter 6, Choices. They reached the core 6 weeks later. An ambassador offered sanctuary, a palace, protection, riches. Alira declined. Tali laughed. We already found our place, they said. Rhett stared at them in disbelief. You sure? After everything. You gave us freedom, Alira said. We choose to give you our loyalty. We're not your debt, Tali added. We're your family. The core ambassador sighed. Strangest found family I've ever seen. Yeah, Rhett said, standing tall. But I wouldn't trade it for a kingdom. Epilogue. The Legend of the Wraith. Years passed. The stubborn Wraith became legend. The smuggler with twin alien princesses for crew. People said they were witches. Others said they were spies. But those who met them said this. They were kind, fierce, and unstoppable. They had been bought for one drink. And they never left his side again.